All right, thank you, everyone. My name is Nichel Anderson. I'm your host for my podcast show, Surviving Your Journey to Success. And this week, it wraps up my my series of Tell It in Five, and it's where I hone on at least five takeaways based on a particular topic that I want to focus on to help you on your journey to a success. So for today, December the 31st, which is pretty much New Year's Eve here in the United States. And tomorrow would be a what? A new year, okay? So let's go ahead and get started for episode 48 entitled How Your Heart and Mind Works in Alignment. I love this topic because it's so real. It can get deep in a way to let you think in terms of looking at life and how we operate on the humanity level to be able to coexist and to grow ourselves in a way that gives us the mental peace, and why the struggle can be so hard, and to be motivated to keep going anyway while you learning the things that you have to learn in life. And sometimes it's painful, but sometimes they're good things. And that's the focus on today, on the last day of the year, and my my last podcast on this particular subject for this month in December. So let's get started. All right, so in this day, I'm thankful to the prime creator of all things, that I give thanks for this blessing and opportunity, that I will use it for the greater good. So welcome, my survivors of the journey, to my podcast that aims to inspire and motivate, that you will continue to have joy, peace of mind, and for your sustained success. All right, so this is episode 48, and again, that title is talking about how your heart and mind works in alignment. So, number one, it is critical for your heart to win and to officially move on in life. Your heart is the very last to detach and move on. That's the struggle. So you have to find the alignment where your mind is telling you this is the right thing, this is what you have to do, this is what you need to do. Then sometimes you have people that say, well, I want to do the right thing, but then I also want to do this, which of course is negative and bad, but the conflict between the two. That's where you have to find the alignment and ask yourself, to get that alignment, do you want the peace that you seek? You can't have it both ways, or that person can't have it both ways. Are you listening? And there are some people that I'm referencing. Okay, and so when your heart detached, that's when you actually move on, because your heart don't want to let go, and your mind, for the better part, when we look at on the good of light and what you need to do, is most of the time pretty much ready to go. Now you have those, like I said, that don't want to move forward and this and that. Well, heck, if their heart is still attached to it and their mind don't want to go, so I'm really not talking about them. They're gonna have to grow, and once they get tired of that painful experience, most likely that mind was that their mind would want to reject that and say, I can't do that anymore. And then they have to balance how their heart is not ready to let go. And so that's the key of what I mentioned earlier, to ask yourself those questions in a sense. Am I ready to do what's needed? Am I willing to wait on my heart? And then once my heart and my mind at that point is already in the position to turn and get off that pathway and get onto a new journey. And that's when you can move forward, when you start asking those questions of what you really want, and are you willing to wait and put in the effort, okay, to get your heart detached and to win, to move on. That's your success, when you move on for something that you know is not giving you the positivity that you deserve and what you need. Number two, attachment is one of the difficulties on our journey, because detachment is emotional pain, so we stay. That's very key. Most of the time when we're in like a personal relationship, we are attached to it because we want it to be what we wish it to be. And so the difficulties of that goes into our emotional self, which embodies our value of ourself and our self-esteem and what we think about identity amongst everybody else. And so we hold on to what we think that can feed it and represent that, when really we have to look at the truth. We have to seek the truth, we have to accept the truth, and we have to move on with truth. You can't move on and not accepting the truth, because then you fall into denial, which I did a podcast about that. And denial is the worst comrade, partner, and Mr. Fear family team of facade. Okay, number 3, when we aim to work in alignment by choice, we uplift our inner being on a spiritual level for success. So we have to work in alignment by choosing what we need to do to get where we need to go. So when we want to be able to accomplish certain things and be a certain way, it's by our choices that defines. It is by our choices that defines our outcome. And therefore, we are uplifting ourselves to be able to look at the path that we're on our journey and live it well. You got to aim. I want to have I want to have me a good and best life. Then you're going to have to start making choices in a way. Or that person that you listening to this podcast for, they have to start making the choices that they need to get the results. So you have to aim to do that. And to aim to do that, your heart has to be in it. So that leads me to my number 4, which the old saying that we say here in the States is, if your heart's not in it, you're not dedicated. And which is truth. Okay, the heart goes where it wants to. All right, the heart wants what it wants, and when it wants something or think it needs something that is toxic or is not helpful, then you have to make sure that your mind, and see your mind working on a logical framework to start asking the truth, seeking the truth by asking the questions, getting the truth, and lining up your heart in a sense, understanding that you have to let go. And to do that, you have to, in a way, sometimes teach your heart. It's just like, I don't know, there's like another part I think of the humanity, that with our heart and our mind and our soul, that we have to come in balance. And sometimes we have to go there and reveal and accept the things that maybe we're not happy about. Maybe we have to feel that it's a failure in that relationship or in that career choice. But once we just accept it, that it is what it is, your heart can want something else that is better. Okay, number 5, we have to balance the heart pursuit to attach, which is its inner grained ability to measure the balance, to measure what's the best option and direction for success by working in alignment with our mind. So therefore, we take the responsibility for any previous choices, right, that we got into. Maybe we didn't have all the information. Heck, it's some good players out there that come in our lives. And when I say players, it could be in the workplace or whatever, that these personalities come in and you think they all what they're saying that they are, and come to find out that they're not. And sometimes we feel like, why can't I see that? And you kind of attack yourself. You don't do that. You go to my self-motivation type platform, you think of that, you lift yourself up, and you give your heart time. Sometimes it takes 5, 7, 4 months, years. You do what you need to do, but you get out and you move forward. Thank you, and Happy New Year. Thank you again for joining me for my podcast episode for my podcast show, Surviving Your Journey to Success, just to give you some information to not only stay in contact, but with the other things that I offer. I provide career consultation, offering the first 30 minutes are free. Thereafter, there is a fee access afterwards per hour and can be discussed on a case-by-case basis, depending on your need. So if it is an emergency and you need some consultation regarding your career or choices that you're about to make moving forward, in a sense, in your personal type objectives, then you can definitely contact me. The primary way to contact me is by email, which is info@nichelanderson.com. Now, I do have a toll-free number on my website. Now, that is actually only for webinars, when I'm doing like a free webinar and you're calling in, once that number is through that medium, and it's only really for that. So it's not really connected to me directly. Now, I am working on that, but for right now, it's not really. And when that changes, you would definitely get a notice of that to go forward. So Just to recap, my primary way is info@nichelanderson.com. All right, so the other thing I want to share with you is that I also provide business courses and self-improvement courses. So that overall objective is to help you to create strategies that work for you, to get you motivated, to identify the ways to get your or keep your joy and your mental peace. So I do provide that on the basis of your objective to gain success, and as I like to say, sustain success. You can find information on my courses that I release on my official website, which is www.nichelanderson.com. And you can go there and you can look at the different courses that I am releasing that are available. These courses are self-paced. They will be identified if they're considered to be like live sessions on a regular basis, but for the most part, they are self-paced. During that time, I do have live sessions that once you have signed up for the course, you will see that in the schedule of what days that I'm available live, that you can talk to me and we can go over the courses going forward, right, on those particular topics. So that information is basically on my website that you can go to, which is nichelanderson.com. Now, I want to do a special call out for listeners that I have seen in my stats that are following me, to continue to follow me, which I am thankful for. Now, to get connected more, to stay connected, I'm asking you to consider to join my newsletter that I do send out. And to do that, you just have to submit, of course, your name and your email. I don't spam. You can always request to be taken off the list. I don't send thousands of emails because I don't like thousands of emails from a particular source. So I keep it very in a way that's informative, of course, because obviously you like the content because you hear and you enjoy it and you're getting something from it, which pleases me. To expand that and to move forward and to get into other ways that I can expand what I'm trying to do is to form a newsletter, to get that set up in the sense that I'm communicating that I can send that out more quickly, actually, through a podcast or any type of thing or production that I'm doing, where a newsletter is more, in the sense, faster to get that contact and to send it out on blast, right? And more opportunity to send more content compared to like social media characters to be able to get that message out. So do consider that to join my newsletter by providing, and you can find that link at the end of each episode. I have that link to basically to sign up here for Nichel E-List Tips newsletter. And you could do that and you can see that and click, and it's a short form, online form. It is secured and you can complete that. All right. The other thing I want to talk about is basically to subscribe to this podcast. If you haven't, please go ahead. Of course, this is going through Podbeam. I have 2 podcasts. This one, of course, you're listening to is Surviving Your Journey to Success. And you can subscribe. Of course, you should see the subscribe button here at the bottom of this episode or at the top, whichever device that you're using. Now, I'm also available on iHeartRadio, on Spotify, on Google Play, on iTunes, and any other podcast directories for feed distribution. You can connect that way and subscribe. And if you like it, share it. Now, I am on social media. And so you do hear me a lot talk about Twitter. I'm mostly active on Twitter. I'm also active on Facebook. For the most part right now is Twitter. And I like the whole concept of keeping it short and sweet. But I'm connecting to people in different parts of the world. And then Facebook, I'm definitely on there as well. And you can connect me with that. So my Twitter handle is basically twitter.com/Nichel Anderson. My Facebook page, facebook.com/Nichel Anderson fan page. My official website, as I mentioned earlier, is nichelanderson.com. That is my official website. It's mainly focusing on self-improvement, motivation, life coaching, leadership courses, things that I really love to help people, what I have learned, and also to connect and to try to create the content in a way that you can feel comfortable about it, open up about the areas where you're struggling at. And it's usually pretty much our career and our personal life. So these self-paced courses give you the opportunity to really think things out, because you got to think about it. In this world, our mind has to be able to process so many things in so little time. And so you're here, you're there, you're everywhere, and you don't really get the opportunity to stop, to think, to react in a way that moves you forward, and to get things done, to get a blueprint. And that's basically the two courses that I recently released, and I will continue to evolve from that and add more courses, of course, or redo some of the courses that I have. And Blueprint for Success is a very good one in the sense of identifying that and moving to a point that you have a plan and that you can move forward. And that's the key. So at any rate, check that out on my official website, and definitely connect with that and share it with somebody else. Now, the other thing I would like to share with you is that, of course, I am an author. And so my very first book that I got published, that I was called to do, it was my purpose, and I see it now. And it's a part of my whole podcast show title. It's called Corporate America, Surviving Your Journey Toward Success. It is available on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. It's available in book form and ebook. Okay, so you can get it at any book retailer in the world that have access to the ISBN for each book. So you can get that, and you can download it, or you can purchase it, or what have you. But go ahead and check out my book, and if you like it, share it. Okay, and that was basically given to me to do, and immediately I felt that I could help college students. I recently had got out of college, and I was like, I can help students. I mean, I didn't know the politics of corporate America, and over time I even got better at understanding the dynamics and the politics of that. And it's very, very important. So if you do know someone that's in college, you got to get them this book. Okay, if you're already in corporate America and you're out of college, you still need to get the book or recommend it to somebody. The book was a blessing, because a few years later, after I was called to do it, and it was part of my whole purpose journey. A few years later, I got contacted by Essence magazine, which people in the States definitely know that's a major magazine. And I used to love purchasing that magazine. And when I was in high school, and I just loved all the articles, and I never would have dreamed that one day, if I continue on the road and continue on the journey, that my name, something that I created, would be inside a magazine. Isn't that powerful? Where it was for me to succeed. Isn't that something? So that's why you have to identify your purpose, identify your reason, struggles, and move forward, and it will get you to your meant to be. It will get you to the blessings that will come to you if you stay on focus and stay on the journey. In my closing, I want to say thank you again for joining me today. Here is my closing statement for you. Be you that strengthens and inspires your ability to be strong in your journey endeavor. It's a good thing towards your mental peace and joy, always to your success.